Hey everybody, welcome back to Jordan's Film Quest. Today's adventure I'll be taking you to the filming locations for the 1980 movie Brubaker, starring Robert Redford, Yaphet Kotto, David Keith, Murray Hamilton, and a very young Morgan Freeman. Now, a little bit of a fun fact. This movie is based on true events that occurred in Arkansas. I'm unsure of the year, but it is based on true events, which makes everything that much sweeter. And for this video, I'm not going to do the locations in any particular order. For those fans of the movie, you guys will recognize the locations, hopefully, because it has been 41 years later since the movie came out. So we're not sure what all has changed. So hopefully we recognize a few things. But with that being said, I did do a video on Brubaker last year, and there is a specific location that I can't get into this year that I got into last year. So I'm going to use that clip from that video. I'm going to insert it into this video. You guys will understand when you see it. All right, so without further ado, let's check out the filming locations for Brubaker. Okay, this is the opening shot of the movie. This is the downtown skyline of Columbus, Ohio. This is the opening scene from the movie where the opening credits are rolling and it says Brubaker. Look how many buildings have been built since the release of the movie. This is along the Scioto River. I'm currently at the Boathouse Restaurant and Confluence Park. The employees here were gracious enough to let me in here and film really quick, so I figured I would just show this quick little area since it was in the movie. Alright, so here we are on Front Street in downtown Columbus. The angle isn't necessarily going to line up unless I move out to the middle of the road, but this is one of the scenes where after there's the establishing shot of the Columbus skyline, it cuts to the prisoners getting on a bus going down the road, and this shot can be seen right after the prisoners get in the bus. This is Levesque Tower right here, and it can be seen very briefly in the background, and there's a red little light that lights up on top of it when it's dark out. Can't see it right now because it's really gloomy, but I'll try and see if I can get into the middle of the road where there's no traffic coming, so I can try and line up this shot really quick. All right, it's a low angle shot just like this in the middle of the road. We can see there's lights along the road that are lit up and it's dark out, and Levesque Tower can be seen in the background. Right there, just like this. I'm in the middle of the road on Front Street. There's cars coming, but it's not the exact angle, but it's close enough, right? I think so. All right, so here we are in Junction City, Ohio, just outside of New Lexington. This is the former site of Wakefield Prison that was in the movie. Now, at one point, it was an actual fully functioning prison. It was built in like 1912 or something like that, and it closed down in 1977. 2 years after that, Brubaker was filmed. 1979. It was released in 1980. So it has been 41 years since the release of Brubaker. I'm at the current site of where the prison used to stand. They tore it down pretty much almost right after filming. But after filming, they kept the east wing open. It was converted into a school for a brief period of time. The prison is no longer here. This is the general area. The building behind me was built sometime after it was demolished. I'm not exactly sure the year that it was demolished, but it was not too long after Brubaker was filmed. So let's take a closer look at this location and see what is left of it, which is almost nothing. It's a junkyard now. So let's take a look. All right, so this parking lot behind me that you see where all these broken down buses and semis are, this at one point was a parking lot that was, attached to pretty much the prison. It was right across the street from the prison, which was right there. And there's an aerial shot in the movie where you can see this specific parking lot way off in the distance. Now it's been 40 some years, and obviously it was a parking lot, so they pretty much just let it go, and now it's just a graveyard for old buses, semis, and there's even a really creepy looking, I don't know, thing back that way. It's like a bus, ice cream truck looking thing or other, I don't know. But let's take a closer look in a different area on the other side of this road where the front of the prison used to be. I'm filming this just because it looks creepy. Just chilling out here by itself. Okay, so here we are on the main road where the main entrance to the prison used to be, and we're gonna see if we can try and sort of match some stuff up. It's gonna be a little difficult, but I will try my best to explain where the prison used to be and some of the admin offices right over here. So let's check it out. All right, so this might be a little bit more difficult than I expected because of there almost being nothing here left from the movie other than this building right here. I'm almost positive that this was Brubaker's house in the movie. Now, getting a closer look at it and just going off memory from the movie, there is a staircase to the right leading up to a door right in front of those two squares on the side of the wall. I remember him and Coombes, they come running down in the rain down those steps, and it looks like where those windows are, it looks like a sunroom, and that's where Brubaker got drunk and passed out right there. So I'm almost positive that that building is where he stayed. If anyone can confirm this, please let me know in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. Walking along the road here, nothing out here, out in the middle of nowhere. But this is the former site of Wakefield, aka Junction City Prison. It is now a junkyard. And the driveway coming up to my right is where the entrance to the prison would have been. There's an aerial shot I'll throw in right here where you can see the entrance to it. And let's just kind of take a look and see what's out here. Yeah, right out there where the field is, there used to be a couple buildings. I don't know if they were like admin offices or what, or it might have been like the whole area where Morgan Freeman's character was kept. But yeah, this is crazy. There's nothing out here. And there would have been a guard tower right here across the street, along with another one right over here, I believe. Okay, so upon further research of the movie, I have found one thing that remains outside of the junkyard that was still here when Brubaker was filmed, that is still partially standing. I mean, there might be some remnants inside the junkyard or something, I'm not sure, I can't get in, but this is the only thing outside that remains intact to this day. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so as I said before, this would have been the main entrance to Wakefield. Now I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to show you the only thing that remains from the movie, and I'm really excited about this. There's horses over there. What up, yo? But check this out. Where this tree is, and this car, up on the hitch, this wall right here is still here to this day. This is the general area of where the prison yard would have been. I can't believe it's still here. Okay, for those who don't know the story of Brubaker, I will catch you up to speed. Robert Redford plays Henry Brubaker. He goes undercover as a convict. He goes to prison here at Wakefield, and he learns about the corruption, just all the bad things going on at the prison. So eventually he comes to a conclusion, which is when he finds Morgan Freeman's character. He's in the hole and he gets loose, and he puts Larry Bullen's in a headlock, and he said he's going to break his neck. And then he says, Morgan Freeman's character says, I want to speak to the man. I want to speak to the man in charge. And then Henry Brubaker's like, I'm the man. I'm the man in charge. I'm the new warden here. I'm Henry Brubaker. Cover's blown. So, with that point on, that is when Henry Brubaker becomes the warden. He storms into the former warden's office, tell him that he's done, he's out. And then now Brubaker is fully in charge. And then just a lot of stuff happens. After that, he tries to reform the prison. He tries to make some new rules that, to make the prison work for the better. And eventually, the government, the mayor, or the governor, and a whole board full of people don't agree with what he's doing. And eventually he gets fired, which sucks because he did a lot for everybody. But pretty much all of the prison scenes were filmed right here, right behind me. Towards the end of the movie, when Brubaker gets fired, he walks out of the entrance and he sees Coombes standing there. Coombes yells, "Hey, Brubaker." Then he says, "You were right." And they both kind of smile at each other. Then Brubaker gets in the police car. And the entrance is somewhere in the middle of your screen. Like I said, it's really hard to pinpoint. But he gets in the police car and he comes out of this entrance right here, goes down the road, and they make a left. And it's an aerial shot. And it just fades off. And then that is the end of Brubaker. I've been to this location before, and there was one specific location in the movie that I wanted to see, which I don't think was filmed out here, because in the movie they said the prison owns like 1,500 acres or something like that. It's the scene where they dug up the bodies. It was along a tree line somewhere out here in this general area. I thought it was going to be right next to the warden's house right there. It's not. So if anybody has any information on that, please let me know, and I might do a part 2 just for that location, because I don't know why, but that was one of my favorite scenes. Okay, so throughout the movie, we all know that Huey is a bad guy, right? Because he's a total and he's always up to no good. They found his stash at his barn, and he is responsible for the murder of Abraham. He hangs him on top the telephone pole, which would have been somewhere out in this general area, because Brubaker looks outside of his house and sees him hanging there, and no guards saw what happened. So Huey ends up taking off, shooting one of the cattle, and Brubaker is on the hunt for Huey. Huey goes to a hideout, and if you remember, he's good friends with Pinky and Pinky's sister, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna head out to the next location, which is Pinky's, well, Pinky's place, also Huey's hideout. So let's head out to that location now and see what all is left from that one.
So here we are, location number 2. If you look at this building behind me, right here, this is called the Pizza Place. Now in the movie, they renamed it. It was called Pinky's. Now there are several scenes used for this movie. And at the beginning of the movie, about 20 minutes into it, we see Brubaker in the truck, and he starts loading stuff into a back door, which is right about there. And I'm gonna take you over there, and we're gonna see some of the scenes that were filmed here. So like I said, this place was renamed just for the movie, called Pinky's, and it was a bar. Now about 15-20 minutes into the movie, we see Huey come in through, I think it's the front door right there, and he stops at the bar and he pours himself a drink, and the guy's like, "Hey, you can't do that, that's my job." And then cuts to a scene and we see Brubaker and a couple other guys loading stuff through the back door. It's pretty sweet that it's like a up and running restaurant. It still works. So I found out online that they have some props and some newspaper articles from back in the 70s when this movie was filmed here. I'm gonna take you inside and show you what all they have. So this is the door that Brubaker and the other guys would have been loading stuff from the truck into. They walked right through that door and put the stuff right in the back. So now we're gonna go inside and check out what they have in there from the movie. So they have the original sign from the movie Pinky's. It used to be out front on the side of the building. That's pretty sweet. This is what it used to look like. That giant sign at the top, which is right here.
Be the wolf among the sheep.
How sweet is this? So towards the end of the movie, when Huey dips out of the prison after Brubaker finds out the murder of Abraham, he dips out here and he comes to Pinky's. Now this is behind Pinky's. Now half of it in the movie was a bar, which is right about there, and the other half there was the guy's house that owned it. Because Brubaker breaks into the bar and he's looking for Huey. He's like, I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna call the cops. He's like, do it, but for now, shut up. I loved it. That was awesome. But anyway, so Larry and Brubaker are searching all over this building, inside, and Huey takes the woman hostage. No, he doesn't take her hostage. He holds her, and he sees Larry through a window, which was right there. And now a lot has changed since 1980. He sees Larry walking around outside through the window, and he opens the door, and he pushes the woman out, and he shoots Larry. Now after he shoots Larry, Brubaker comes, and he shoots Huey. And that scene was filmed right here in this parking lot, right where those cars are. It looks like the outside of it's been redone a little bit, and the windows aren't there. There used to be a chimney at one point, right where that looks like that loading dock door is. There's a chimney right there. It's no longer there, but it's made in the 80s. So I mean, of course things change over time, but still cool though. It's crazy to think that this is now a pizza restaurant. But yeah, that scene was filmed right here where these cars are. It sucks that there's really not much you can tell that it was filmed here other than really that triangle rooftop right there. But yeah, this is where Larry would have met his demise from Huey. That bloody shirt that I showed you earlier, that was Larry's shirt. This is where that scene was filmed, where he gets shot by Huey.
All right, so I'm here at this next location. I'm on 2126 State Route 93. This is the location from the movie of the lumberyard scenes, formerly known as Howdy Shell Lumber. It's no longer here. Behind me is a demolition derby track, I guess, if you will. I don't know, it says Midway Racetrack, so I would assume that's what it is. But this is the general area of where the lumberyard scenes were, and it's no longer here, but I'm gonna give you a layout of what it looks like now and show you that there is nothing left. So let's check it out. Okay, so I came in on this road right here. This is Township Road 402, and when I put the address in, it gave me this location right here across the street. Now, as you can see, there is nothing there. Although, if you go a little bit farther down to the right, there is a little road that kind of is very almost gone, I guess. There's some remnants of a road that would go in to this former site. This is the former site of Howdy Shell Lumber. And the scenes that were filmed here is where Floyd makes the prisoners work like slaves, you know, making the lumber, cutting it, all that and whatnot. And then Bullen gets a huge splinter through his hand, and Floyd comes up, kicks him over and says, hey, this ain't no damn coffee break, or something like that. But Bullen gets pissed and he goes behind the truck and releases all of the logs, and they all fall over. And then that's when Huey comes and picks up a group of guys and he takes them to Pinky's. All of that was filmed right here in this general area, and I do apologize that there is nothing left. Kind of sad to see, but this is the exact address that I was told that this location was filmed at. But still cool though, nonetheless, to see where something was filmed. All right, so here I am at the next location. I'm at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds in Lancaster, Ohio. And this is the location where Brubaker meets up with Lillian and Leon to discuss the digging up of the murdered bodies that Abraham was talking about. And then there's another guy that shows up. I can't remember his name right offhand. He was one of the big wigs who didn't really like Brubaker. But this is the Fairground area, and I'm going to show you the exact location of where it was filmed. So let's take a closer look at this location. This is where Brubaker meets up with the 3 other people. This is the exact building where they have their meeting at. And to the left, where that little bench is where Brubaker would have parked his truck. And he would have walked in right through those doors to have his meeting with Leon and Lillian and the other guy. And it's pretty much where they discuss that Brubaker needs to stop digging up the bodies. And he says, how many bodies you think are buried out there? You wouldn't even know, would you? And they all pretty much just tell him to stop digging before he gets into more trouble. And then he just says, I have a prison to run. And then he just walks off. But it is closed, and I cannot get in, but this is the exact building that they filmed in. How cool is this? Okay, I think it's going to be a wrap on the filming locations for the movie Brubaker. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. I have plenty more filming locations to come, so stay tuned. So please be safe, take care, and I'll see you guys next time on Jordan's Film Quest.